ISIS psychopaths are ready to strike at targets on American soil. We know our government has created and funded ISIS, so whether or not this is a real threat or a false flag, the globalists are now one step closer to their endgame, stripping us of all our liberties. So we dress up like an ISIS jihadi to be as obvious as possible, to show and to illustrate just how wide open the border really is.
Thank you, Obama, for leaving your southern borders open so ISIS can terrorize America. ISIS thanks you, President Obama. We claim this land for Sharia law.
Globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding and making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Join us at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Members can share their memberships with up to 11 people. By subscribing, you will literally be buying war bonds in the info war to expand our operation in the face of the tyrants. Join us at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Since you have made it so easy for the Caliphate ISIS group to come into your country, I challenge you, President Barack Obama, to take the ISIS Head Bucket Challenge. Do not listen to your conservative swine or your patriotic groups, your Tea Party. Ignore them. Leave the borders wide open for me and my brethren to come in and do psychotic things. You created us. Love us. Let us in. Let us go running around and killing and taking places over. That's why you made us, isn't it?
This morning, as I was working out, I was flipping through channels and was watching the Brazilians go into conniption fits like North Koreans when Kim Jong-il died, crying and beating their chest and having national mourning and blaming Mick Jagger for being bad luck because he rooted for the Brazilian team when the Germans trounced them, 7-1? 7-0? In fact, give me the scores. I think it was 7-1. The point here is that I didn't watch it and I don't know and I don't care. I'm not against people that want to watch soccer or football, whatever. It's the mental illness obsession with people's identity being...
Oh, say, can you see?
This video will present irrefutable and scientific proof that will establish beyond any reasonable doubt that Michelle Obama is in fact a man who prefers to present himself and who prefers to dress up as a woman. This video will prove that the person commonly referred to as the First Lady of the United States may be the First Queen at best, but he most certainly is not a lady. Let's find out why. This video will examine the following. It will examine Michelle's male hands, male shoulders, male
Working out, I was flipping through channels. Don't want to be directed. Southern California.
People don't seem to look around and open.
I'm sorry, you've not seen the movie?
Not just yet.
And you're too busy to see it, probably?
To do. The fourth quarter. Well, the Raptor have
Look at the cover story in Rolling Stone. A woman possessed.
Then he's a...
When I dance, if you're a dancer, you know, you're just interpreting the sounds and the accompaniment. It's the music that compels me to do it. It's not that. We're going to fix it in a minute. We're on live television, so we're going to go to break. These things happen. We'll be right back.
It's Club 7, and you should look after the Spice Girls, Simon Fuller. Have they tried?
Female underage in a motel by the down.
It's been said that fiction is a projection of reality.
I don't know, they might...
Back into British Israel.
Department of Public Health, this is Dr. White. I'm Sergeant Friday.
Negroes? No, they didn't. It was a very... She wore the same old-fashioned clothes and tried to speak to have a penchant for staring at a guy who's working for the devil. And in the movie, creates a new world order and tells Hellboy that he above with their father's shoe separating them. The goddess Newt is typically depicted in a tight-fitting blue dress, just like Princess Nuanez. Geb, the god of leaves, and here's Prince Nuanez.
This guy has never had to evolve.
That connect him to the sun god and to the all-seeing eye. Your story. The story of Set, Osiris, and Horus, with Laura plays with no witnesses, like Lara Croft's father was killed. On a rock.
He didn't say anything last night that he hasn't said before in public. And I should tell...
Ladies and gentlemen, the President...
through the press.
What do you think of President Obama's suggestion that the borders be redrawn?
He has no idea what the world is like because he doesn't have to live there. That's why President Netanyahu, whose brother led the Entebbe raid and died crossing invented UN after the League of Nations was a disaster. This is a paper tiger. We allow dictators to get up there and spread propaganda from Hugo Chavez to Gaddafi.
eSurance saves people money on car insurance. How? By doing things in a modern, smarter way. That saves us money, which saves you money.
The UR Experience. Coming to a city near you with special guests August Alsina and DJ Cassidy. Tickets are on sale now. Produced by Live Nation Global Touring.
Watching television often produces an because of psychological
Invisible a whole new era of
and intellectual manipulation.
Sound it out. Get ready.
In every region,
First John Isaiah chapter 4. Before we go any further, we make it past the third degree, which limitations have been, and still has of years. This flag. Brotherhood of nations and race still are valid. But Isaiah 29:15. Illuminati that is shareholders of the Bank of England. Wallace well knew that his military defeat was only the beginning of world catastrophe that would be universal and that unrest would continue until mind control could be accomplished through a false religion. What he predicted has come to pass. A brief sketch of American religious history, and we have seen Masonry infused into every church in America with a veiled phallic religion. We can't see the Judeo-Masonic conspiracy because we are not accustomed to thinking in terms of hundreds of years. But the Illuminati bankers have been plotting the new order of the ages featured on the US dollar along with the uncapped Masonic pyramid 4th meeting in Paris in 1930. By the Illuminati Masons as the flaming torch of reality means to bear light when we... There is another similar being the mother of them all. In 1791, Pierre Charles lent Fanny the
myself that we needed a new
program. Feeling we are redefining impractical to the globalist trap. Microchip that can be read from a few. In addition, the intent of Saddam Hussein. Whipping up fear into Americans once again, while none were found, both continued their charge that WMD existed with the fervor. In the scriptures, repos. Exodus 22:25. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer. Yet the law in many countries. Matthew chapter 7 verses 15 through 20. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns, or figs of thistles? Even so every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down, and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. Thus that there would be false prophets in the world. Many of the modern-day false prophets we see today belong to secret satanic societies like the Freemasons, the most unholy so-called Christian group on the earth today. It is currently the world's largest Christian television network. TBN has aired the most evil of teachings and supports apostate, Christ-hating false prophets. Many TBN followers may have a hard time believing the information presented in this video. I ask that you pray that God would reveal the truth to you. Jesus said in John 8:32, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." And a doctrine being preached to the masses and being disguised as Christian. Luciferians actually believe that God held Adam and Eve captive in the Garden of Eden, because he was a cruel and unjust God. They believe that Lucifer rebelled against God, to save mankind, and to set mankind free. If this is too much for TBN followers to accept, then I strongly encourage you to do your own research on the occult and the Luciferian doctrine. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant. Because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. With the initial turn to apostasy by the Christ since the 1960s Cultural Revolution, when the Illuminati decided to step up its revolutionary activities under the guise of Christian revivalism and Jesus rock. It's not hard to spot this Illuminist infiltration of Christianity. It basically works on the foundation of Christian Zionism under seductive doctrines promising riches and rewards, like the prosperity gospel or word of faith movement, to lure sleeping and unwitting masses to disappointment, and ultimately to heresy and apostasy.